Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we will share some ideas from the power of habit. The key points in the book include 1. Why habits exist, 2. What are the key drivers of habits, 3. How we can utilize these drivers to change bad habits, and 4. Strategies to cultivate desirable habits. There's something for everyone here, so let's dive straight in. Habits or routines are basically formed as the brain tries to develop efficiency. You see, there is only so much brain power that can be exerted. So if we had to think through every single action in life, it would just become too exhausting. So, at a primal level, the brain develops these seemingly automatic patterns that we just do without paying too much attention. This conserves brain energy. Obvious examples of such actions include brushing our teeth in the morning once we wake up, or having a snack during the day. Which brings us to the key drivers of habits. Now, the habit loop is basically formed by 3 big components: a cue, a routine, and finally a reward. So, let's say you feel hungry at work. You then buy a packet of cookies from the vending machine and you get to enjoy the taste. Now for some people, this action is a one-off, but for others, this action can become second nature because the habit becomes entrenched when they satisfy a 4th component, cravings. Cravings are satisfied once the lovely taste experienced fires the brains in wonderful ways, leading to a release of feel-good hormones. Now these feel-good hormones or messages then create a sense of constant need. So, in future, each time we are exposed to a cue or the craving, we give in and the habit loop is reinforced. By using the example above, let's say we wanted to change this negative habit. These are some of the things that can be done. Step 1. Identify the routine. This is the easy part. Clearly you know that buying the cookie is the routine or act. So, you put pen to paper and write this down. Step 2 is to experiment with the rewards. Now, rewards are powerful because they satisfy the cravings. This is where instead of buying a cookie, you might experiment with different foods. On day 2, you might try a protein bar instead. Then on day 3, a packet of oats. Day 4, an apple. The reason for this is to determine which cravings are driving the routine. i.e., are you getting the cookie because you feel the need for energy or because you are hungry? Then perhaps the other foods may help you manage this craving. Or if you are craving something sweet, are there alternatives such as more natural sugars from fruits that may suffice? Or perhaps you don't really enjoy the cookie, but you just want to enjoy walking past your colleague's desk for a chat on your way to the vending machine. Hence, you can make a point to simply walk over to have a chat via a different route perhaps, instead of following the path which takes you through the vending machine. So this is really the part of the journey where you can experiment. It takes a while to work out what your true cravings are, but don't be discouraged. Also, it will take some time to work out what reward or act will satisfy your true craving. So for myself, I realized that my previous snacking habits revolved around feeling hungry, and I was trying to overcome that hunger, so that was my reward. So, now that you've worked out the routine and the reward, we head back towards the cue. Generally, cues fall into 5 categories: location, time, emotional state, other people, and what action preceded the urge. So, looking at the example above, I'll show you my potential cues over 3 days. Take a look at the 5 categories for each day. You will notice that the time factor seems to be a common cue. and I know this is because I get hungry around that time. So with this in mind, I then have a box of instant oats at my workstation, and around 3:45 daily, I now prepare a healthy snack to fight my impending hunger pang. So I identified my cue as being the time. I then know that I can reward myself by getting over the hunger by having a healthy snack, hence limiting my exposure to unhealthy and undesirable food. Now I realize that this is a very simplistic view on how habits can be altered, and perhaps on how new habits can be formed. But essentially it is a reminder to allow ourselves some leeway for experimentation and not to rush the process. In addition, the example I shared brings us to a next point of discussion, which is the power of cornerstone habits. A cornerstone habit is essentially a habit that sets up a chain reaction for subsequent good habits to follow. From our earlier example, the habit of journaling my cues had made the subsequent choice of food much easier. With time, I don't need to perform this journaling act anymore because a new dietary pattern is already established. So try to identify any keystone habits that can drive new habits that you wish to create. For example, some athletes enjoy watching inspirational videos of their idols before a hard workout just to get pumped and enthused. So like all things, don't be afraid to experiment. Lastly, another tip is to engage like-minded people if you're trying to establish a new habit. The power of group mentality is commonly seen. For example, budding entrepreneurs love to join focus groups, while those who want to exercise more join running groups or fitness classes. This is because you see someone doing something and you then get motivation to follow suit. You now feel comfortable and accountable to yourself and the group, hence improving the likelihood of maintaining the new habit. As I reflect on the ideas of the book, I am reminded that most of our habits are really a reflection of our choices. But as the habit becomes routine, we essentially have to work very hard to wrestle back control over our decisions. And this is why the little choices that we make must be carefully thought out. Because if we are not careful, these small innocent acts, such as the occasional cookie, can snowball or avalanche into a major habitual problem if we are not careful. So with this in mind, I hope you gained something from this video. Take care, stay well, and do consider subscribing to the channel to support its growth. I look forward to seeing you again next week.